Hey guys, Culticom here, and this video is for those of you who would like to be able to connect your Oculus Quest series headset to your desktop computer so that you can play games through Steamvr or through the Oculus desktop application. And this is also a video for those of you who want to stream that content and be able to see your alerts or your comments as they happen in VR without your audience being able to see those boxes and being distracted by it. So if you'll join me down in the Culticom conference room, we'll get started. All right, hello everyone. Welcome to the Culticom conference room. Today's seminar is going to be all about setting up your Oculus device for content creation, streaming, recording, whatever you want to do, and be able to see your alerts while you do it. So you may be wondering, hey, Culticom, what do I need? Well, it's simple. You're going to need a VR device. We're going to be using an Oculus Quest 2 for this. You'll need a USB 3.0 cable or a strong Wi-Fi connection to use Oculus AirLink. You'll want to download the Oculus app to your computer. And you'll also want to download Steamvr to your computer. That's what we'll be using in this presentation. Lastly, pop out any alert boxes that you want to have in the VR experience. So if you're using Stream Elements, if you're using Facebook alerts, whatever, pop those out into their own individual browser windows for each of those. All right. So if you do go the USB cable route, you want to make sure you're using at least a USB 3.0. The interns and I tested a USB 2.0 cable. This will work if you just want to test it and see how it looks. But ultimately, it will kind of lag out, maybe even lose connection. So you definitely want to get at least a USB 3.0 or 3.1 cable. Of course, you have the option of using USB Type-C to USB Type-C. But you may want to check the back or front of your desktop computer that you're going to be using and make sure that it has a USB-C connection. If not, you may opt for a USB-C to USB Type-A cable. Worth noting, you may also be able to find a USB Type-C to Type-C, which includes a Type-A adapter built right into it. Now, Facebook does offer on their website a link cable. It's about $80, right? I know the interns, they can't afford that. So if you jump over to Amazon, Newegg, Monoprice, you can find the same type of cable for a fraction of the price. We got one for about $15 that was actually even longer than the one that Facebook was selling. So something worth considering. In this case, you want to download the desktop app, run through any kind of registration steps, and then at some point it will ask you to connect your Oculus via the cable to your desktop computer, and you run through the rest of the steps and you're pretty much done. It's probably the most simple method. We're going to talk mainly about using the AirLink feature because with this feature in our tests, it was no less laggy or anything than using the cable. It was just as good a quality, but obviously without the cable, it gave you a lot more freedom of movement, right? So in this case, you will download the Oculus app, run through the registration steps all the same as before, but instead of selecting a cable connection, you'll select the AirLink connection. Then you'll power on your Oculus device, turn on AirLink, and you will be set and ready to go. To get this desktop app, jump over to oculus.com/setup and choose the device that you're going to be using. For us, it's the Quest 2. You'll download and install the Oculus app, and then when you open it up, this is what it's going to look like. Of course, you'll have to sign in to either a Facebook account or an Oculus account. And then this is where you'll have the option after you run through a few registration steps to either link via the cable or use AirLink, which is wireless. In our case, we're going to use the wireless setup. We'll select the Quest 2 as our device. And then we'll activate AirLink. So now we'll jump over into our Oculus device and show you how to turn on AirLink and pair it with your computer. All right, to enable Oculus Link, there are only a few steps needed. So from the panel that you have here on your Oculus Home, go over to the far left and you'll see Quick Settings. Go ahead and select Quick Settings, and the Quick Settings menu will open up. From here, jump up to the very top right where it says Settings and has the gear icon, and select Settings. You'll be presented with this page here, which has a multitude of tiles. At the very bottom, you'll see one titled Experimental. Go ahead and select that. And that will open up the experimental settings, one of which is AirLink. So to turn this on, simply click or slide this button here, and that will open up your AirLink requirements. It's good to make sure that you do meet these requirements so that your experience is seamless and not laggy. Go ahead and click Continue. And then you'll notice you're presented with the Quick Settings page again, only this time you now have a new tile for Oculus AirLink. Go ahead and select that tile, and you'll see all of the available PCs which are currently turned on and connected to the same network as your Oculus headset. So it is important that you make sure the computer you're attempting to connect to is turned on and on the same network as the headset. Go ahead and select your computer and then click Pair. This will give you a pairing code, which will also be presented on your desktop computer via the Oculus app. Go ahead and click Confirm on your desktop computer. Once you've clicked Confirm on your desktop computer, you'll have the option to now click Continue. And now your Oculus headset is paired with your desktop computer. To complete the connection, click Launch. And now you will be in your environment, which is your Oculus PC VR environment. All right, so now that we're connected, let's talk about pinning our alerts into our environment in a way where we will be able to see our alerts, our comments, our OBS, whatever, but the audience will not be able to see that. Let's jump over into VR. Your interface should look something like this here. Now, this bar is going to be a very important piece. You can scroll through the bar by adjusting the joystick on the right controller, left or right. And to access our computer, we go to this icon here, which is the desktop. Select that, and you'll be presented with a monitor for each monitor you have. Selecting one of those monitors will bring you to that monitor on your desktop. You can see the Oculus app has automatically opened. And from here, if you own any games within Oculus, maybe for your Oculus Rift or any other device, you would be able to see those here if you're signed into that account and be able to launch and play those games. But we also have the option to launch Steamvr. So if we select this and click Open, we are now launching into Steamvr. Typically, you'll be presented with this environment. To pull up the menu, simply click the Oculus button on your right controller. Return to your desktop, and you'll see both Steamvr on your panel here and also Steamvr running on your desktop. So to launch a game, simply click that game and click Open. And now we are launched into one of our Steamvr games. Now, as you're playing this game, you may want to be able to see your alerts, your comments, things that are happening on your stream. Maybe you want to even be able to control or at least see your OBS. So to do so, click the right Oculus button, which will pull you out of the game and back into your PC VR environment. We see that Steam is still running, and we have a new tab showing up, which is the game that we're playing. Now, if we push to the right, we can see our desktop again, but we can also see Add Desktop Panel. So if we go to our desktop, one thing worth noting is you'll actually see that the game is not only running in your Oculus headset, but it's also running in a window or potentially full screen on your actual desktop monitor. This means that in OBS, you can select your game capture or window capture or display capture to be this window or this game on your desktop computer. That means that whatever happens in this window will be broadcast or recorded, but not what happens in your Oculus headset, and that's important to note. Now, if we jump over to monitor 2, I have my Stream Elements alert. And what I've done is I've selected this pop-out button here, which has presented me with this standalone window. And that's important to do. Any alert box that you have, even if it's in your Facebook alerts, you can pop out your comments box, you can pop out your alerts box, and make them their own individual windows. And this comes into play because we can go back to our panel, and on the far right, we have Add Desktop Panel. So if you select that, you'll be presented with every single window that is open on any of your desktop monitors. So if you have your Oculus app open, your game open, any of your browsers, even if you have OBS or Discord open, those would pop up here as well. Since I know my alerts was in Microsoft Edge, I can open this up and see both of those two windows that are open. Unfortunately, it can be a little bit tricky to determine which one is the correct one, but you can obviously just click on one to see. So this is the larger of the two windows, which I do not want. I'll go back here and select the first one, and that is the more compact version. And if you use your controller's grab button, you can pull this off and you can put it anywhere in your environment. Pushing the joystick controller forward or back will push this further away or up close. And going side to side on the joystick will make it larger or smaller. So you can control the actual dimensions and size of this box and where it's placed. For me, I like to put them up high in the sky. That way, as I'm playing the game, I don't have any boxes in my way, but simply looking up in the sky will allow me to see what alerts are happening. Now, very important, in order for this to stay in your environment when you go back to the game, you need to click this Pin to Experience button. Once you have pinned this, it will stay here even if you launch into different games or different programs. This will remain here in this exact spot. You can also add in multiple desktop panels. So you can have your OBS panel in here, you could have all of your Facebook panels in here, anything that you want or feel that you need for the stream, you can have floating above or below or wherever you would like it. Now, important to note, this is only visible in your Oculus experience. So this is not showing up on our desktop window of the game. So as we broadcast the desktop window of the game we're playing, you will not see this on the user side. So you'll be able to see it in the environment, but your audience will not. I'll give you an example. Let's launch back into the Walking Dead game. So here we are, we're in the game, we can see everything, we can interact with everything, go kill zombies, whatever. And as we're playing, we can look up in the sky and we can see, hey, Darren liked my stream. Awesome, thank you, Darren. I appreciate that. And then we go back to slaying zombies. Now, your audience will see this environment, they'll see the zombies, they'll see whatever you're doing in this game, but they will not see this panel hovering in the sky, because this panel is only visible in the Oculus and not on the desktop application itself. So that is the way where you can play the game and still be able to see things without having that disruption for your audience. Your audience will only see the game and they'll think you're some kind of miraculous being who simply knows when he gets comments or alerts. I should say he, she, they get comments, alerts, any of that good stuff. So that is the best method to do that. We can also pull up our OBS and be able to control OBS in this environment, again, in a way where the audience cannot see it. So that's how this works. It does require that you play the game off of your desktop computer using Steamvr or the Oculus app. If you play a game from within the Oculus and try to cast it to your computer, then that method will not necessarily work. Hope this helps. All right, pretty straightforward, right? Couple steps you have to go through, but once you get it down, it'll be like muscle memory. And this method will allow you to see any kind of alerts or comments that are happening, maybe even to monitor OBS or other things that you want to monitor while you're streaming in a way where you can see it, but your audience cannot. Now, it is worth noting again that this method specifically works when you are playing the game via your desktop. So if you're using Steamvr or if you're using the Oculus desktop application to play these games where you have a physical window popping up on your desktop computer that you can assign OBS to. And then within the Oculus app, or Oculus experience, I should say, there is where you're pinning these different programs. So that's how you do it. You can also assign either a lavalier mic to capture your voice, or you can use the built-in Oculus microphone to capture your voice. All of that can be configured in OBS as well. You can actually start and stop your streams from within VR if you want to do that. You basically have full control of your desktop while you're in the VR environment. All right, guys, I hope you found that video helpful. If you do have any questions, leave them in the comments and our interns will jump in there and help you get those answered. Otherwise, if you want to see the VR in action, you can join us on our Facebook page where we live stream. The link for that is in the description. Or you can subscribe here on YouTube if you want to see the highlights from those streams or any pre-recorded content and how-to guides. For Culticom, I'm the technician, and I'm out of here.